Hi there, and welcome to my career stories. So, I think this is actually episode 46, not 45, but today I'm joined by Frankie at the gym. So, hi, Frankie.
Hello, it's nice to see you.
Thank you for joining me. It's really cool to have you on.
Thanks so much for
Um,
having me.
yeah, it's cool. So, Frankie and I met at the gym when I joined a yoga class about 18 months ago, and then started doing Pilates with her. And I just think she's such a great instructor, teacher, coach, however you want to kind of describe what you do. And you always bring such kind of wisdom to the classes as well. I thought you'd be a really great guest. So that's why she's here. So anyone that's watching, please do comment to let us know that you're here, where you're watching. Feel free to ask any questions or share your experience. And if you're watching on replay, do the same thing, and I'll catch up with those later. So just a very quick intro for anyone that's not watched before. So the basis for these sessions is that I've always been really interested in what people do, why they do it. I like to learn about different roles and career paths. And the aim really is to get ideas about what people could do. And then my guests generally give a bit of advice about what it is they do and how people could get into that line of work. So, Frankie, can you just give us a brief intro to you and what it is that you're doing right now work-wise?
Yes, of course. So I work at Nuffield Health, and at the moment I'm the group exercise manager here. And I've been doing that role for a year, but I've been a freelance fitness instructor for about 16 years now, teaching classes like spin, yoga, Pilates, and other and Les Mills programs as well. And I will have been self-employed for a long, long time until last April. Yes, so it's all about the people that you're in front of. It's all about the experiences in the moment. And my job's it's a very face-to-face job,
Okay.
and I love that. It's my favourite bit.
Cool, excellent. Right, we'll talk a bit more about that as we go through. But I always start with asking about early careers. So, did you have a job whilst you were at school or college? And if you did, it doesn't matter what it was, but did that help you in any way?
The very first job I got was at a garden centre, and I was filling up bags with soil for about £3.50 an hour. And then I worked washing up in a kitchen. And then I worked in a cafe, again, washing up and serving. And when I was at school later on, I would work just more catering. And at university, I worked at the student union bar. So it was always in that service industry and catering industry. And I
Okay.
found it helped me understand how to be on time. It helped me understand the value of money very well, and it helped me appreciate my mother even more as well, because she of all the reasons that kids don't empty the dishwasher until they're old enough, but then you realise it was so nice before you had all these, before that was part of your life.
Yeah, so true. So true. So my next question was going to be, did you go to university? So you've just answered that. You did go to university. So what did you do at university, and how did you decide that course?
I did English literature at university, and I started off at Aberystwyth in Wales, and I finished at Kingston in the second and third year. And then I went to do diploma in English literature, and I wanted to get a master's degree, and I got that from originally the Royal Holloway University, but then finished at the Open University. So I've been to
Wow.
too many
Excellent.
universities really. Um, Back when I was younger, my dream was to to write a PhD and work at a university. Um, I was very interested in so many things about um, English literature that have nothing to do with my job now at all. But I adored it. I absolutely adored it, and I got into it because it was just an immediate passion when I
Yeah.
started secondary school, and it was something I still do it now. I still make up stories for my children when we're driving or when we're away, and I've forgotten to bring books with us. So it's a real passion. I love storytelling. I love the intertwining of landscape and narratives, and yeah, I still to this day just can't get enough of things like that.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that you did that. That's really cool. I'm just doing English A level. I've got my exam tomorrow. English literature A
Wow.
level. Yeah.
That's
Because I didn't do
well.
it at school and always regretted it. So I thought I would do it. So I've been cramming on Othello and Great Gatsby for the last few days.
Oh my goodness, how that sounds wonderful. I hope you have a great time. I hope you really enjoy your exam.
Well, I'm quite looking forward to writing the essays, but the issue I think is the exam situation. I'm not sure that's going to go that well. So I can't. Maybe it's an age thing. I just can't seem to recall all the information that you need to get into that paper. But anyway, that's
Mm.
fine. I wanted to do it to
Oh,
widen my read, and it's done that. So that's cool.
good. Good for you.
Okay. So how did you go about starting your career then? So if you were doing kind of English and to a really high level, and then now that you're a fitness instructor and health manager, how did you actually start and where did you start?
So I remember I finished my first year of my MA and I was living with my mum, and she is also a fitness instructor. So the simple answer is she inspired me to do this because I was because that level of university study is so incredibly difficult, and I probably quite quickly realised I wasn't going to be able to do a PhD and become a famous novelist, as 6-year-old Frankie had so dreamed. But my mum's, and I did have a really bad relationship with exercise and food from the age of 14 to about the age of 18, 19, and I really struggled a lot. With things like weight management and just the relationship with my body as well. And my mother encouraged me and helped me enormously to start the exercise to music program, which is pretty old school now, exercise to music. You don't have to have that anymore to teach some group exercise classes. So I did that and sort of followed in her footsteps, and I felt quite enamored with that journey because it was so nice to carry on what she was doing and almost carry on the family business in a way, if you like.
Mm.
I find that a nice, a sweet thing to do. But I wouldn't have for one second back when I was 23 thought that this is where I'd be now. Um, so I did my exercise to music, and you had to choreograph an aerobics class, and I still have the paper at home. It's really sweet, little stick figure people and arrows of direction. And you just probably don't have anything like that now. It would seem like going back into the Stone Age for people studying now, I imagine. So you had to choreograph a class, and you had to bring two people to teach. So I had to get two friends, and we drove to about 2 hours to this hall, and this would all be online now, so it'd be so different. And coach them through it like they'd never done any exercise before, screen them for their injuries, and just make sure you absolutely ticked every single box. And then I did a personal training, a gym level 2 exam later, and then I started teaching spin was my first group exercise qualification that I did after that was group cycle. And I remember very clearly teaching my first spin class and saying at the end, I can't believe that was what I've been missing this whole time, because that was so incredibly fun. The combination of the music, the effort, it's such a privilege to be able to witness people give you an incredible effort and energy. It's a really special thing, and I got such a kick out of it. I almost knew straight away then that I was going to dedicate a big chunk of my life to group exercise. It was a really magical moment. I still think about it probably every week or so. It's really special to me, that first feeling. And then there was a gym in Maidenhead called La Roche that I attended, and they were looking for a receptionist, and I started working as a receptionist for a couple
Okay.
of years,
Yep.
and I really loved that as well. I've been very lucky, and I've really enjoyed more or less everything I've done, but this is probably a choice. It's a decision, and it's not every single day, but most days there's something to enjoy. But it's always a human aspect. It's never,
Yeah.
for some people they love technology or they all love whatever part of their job. But for me, it's always the human beings.
Yeah.
Uh, so yes, it was La Roche in Maidenhead, which is now a block of flats,
Oh,
sadly.
yeah.
And then they had two clubs, and there was another one in Amersham. And when I was 25, I was asked to be the general manager of the Amersham site, which is also now housing, because it's so long ago.
Yeah.
and, and I remember going to work in a suit instead of a instead of my lycra and
So your gym,
leggings,
yeah.
and feeling on cloud nine. And yeah, I was thrilled to bits. Was thrilled to bits, really was. And that was the start. And I still think about that all the time. And it was really wonderful. I had a wonderful boss called Martin Pask, and he was absolutely amazing. He made every day, we would be in hysterical fits of giggles every single day at some point. And he just taught me so much. And he was so passionate about creating an environment for people to feel at home and for people to feel part of the team, part of the gang. And he was just so funny. And just used to make me laugh all day. And I just thought it was just the best. And it felt like, if you've ever struggled to make friends or feel like you're included in a group, or you meet that one person that can change your life, and he really did that for me,
Oh,
because I think if he hadn't been there, it would have been completely different. But he
yeah,
was every day. He just made me laugh so much, and he was just a wonderful person. And the managers that I have now, are just fabulous. And all the way through fitness, I find the leisure industry, because there is often a high turnover. It's something that people get
yeah,
into at a young age sometimes because they've really enjoyed it, well, for lots of different reasons. I won't guess, but it isn't the most lucrative industry, and I find now a lot of people who are interested in it are going onto the online route, and that's completely fine. But if people stay, it's normally the love
yeah,
that makes them stay, because if money is the motivator, which it is, of course, it's a huge part of life, isn't it? This industry doesn't, group exercise, I mean, isn't maybe where you go to make your millions, but to me, I can't imagine life without it.
yeah. And that human aspect, I think that's so important, isn't it? And what you talked about then about having those people that are the pivotal points in your career, it's a really important thing to reflect on, I think.
So it's so important, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yes, I would love to. I would love to bump into him again one day. He's just such a great person, and there's so many people along the way that
Yeah,
have changed my life for the better, and
yeah,
it's been a real honour and a gift to have
yeah,
to be able to say that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is sometimes people don't even know what a huge impact they've had on you, do they? I think I contacted someone recently that said something to me about 15 years ago that's always stuck with me, and he had no idea that it had had that much effect on me. I think it's really
Yeah,
important to verbalize that to the person as well and tell them because it feels nice.
absolutely,
Cool.
absolutely.
Okay. So you just touched about on about sorry doing spin was your first thing, and I was you seem to teach pretty much anything you can teach at the gym. So how do you keep all your knowledge up to date and when new classes come out and all of that kind of stuff?
Well, it's with groups like so there's freestyle and there's choreographed classes, and the
Yeah.
freestyle ones, so spin, you're choosing the music, which is my favourite thing.
Yeah.
You're choosing the music, and when I started, it would be on a CD, but you wouldn't. You can buy mixes certainly, but my favourite thing was putting my own playlists together. But with Les Mills, I teach attack, combat, pump, and balance. That company provide the instructors with the music and the choreography every three
Right.
months, and
Okay.
then you learn that choreography and off by heart, so you can deliver it to your classes as if it's without trying to remember.
Yeah.
And so some of the instructors I know teach 6, 7 programs, and I honestly don't know how to do it. I honestly don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
They're absolutely unbelievable. Um, the So Les Mills, yeah, will provide you with music and
Yeah.
choreography.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and it's so nice to have access to both.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can say negative about either. It's a real lovely experience to teach both.
That's good.
Spin, I suppose, if I had to choose just one exercise for the rest of my life, it would be Pilates, because it's so good for you and gives you
Yay.
such variety of
Yeah.
movement. I'm just obsessed with it. But
Yeah.
spin definitely has the endorphin level, and if you get the right music and everybody in the room is really enthusiastic and full of beans, it's my version of going like clubbing.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
That's my version of going out with my friends. It's going to a
Yeah,
spin class,
going to spin
which
class.
actually sounds quite sad, but there we are.
I know I can relate to that. I know when people say to me, "What do you do to relax?" and I talk about running, they look at me like, "What?" But yeah,
No, I
each
totally get that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm talking specifically about yoga and Pilates here because this is where I know you from. So you're talking about the pressures of life and things like that during your classes, and I think it really resonates with people. So I think it's probably quite a brave thing for you to do. How did you decide to start doing that? So you just kind of mentioned something, and it definitely gets me thinking. Quite often I want to stop and write it down so that I can think about it a bit more
Oh,
later.
oh, that's so nice. I hope this doesn't come across as cheesy or corny, but I can't not do it, and I
Mm,
find that in the rest of my life as well. And people will often tell me that that's really unusual and
mm,
um, weird. But yeah, I guess I just want to get to your whatever word you use for your personality, your spirit,
yeah,
your soul, whatever
yeah,
word, whatever technology, whoever, whatever word doesn't make you go ugh.
mm,
I think if you can connect to the person and have them feel safe and cared for, they'll do their exercises better. And also, I just talk like that all the time. So
mm,
yeah, that's just who I am as a person. I think
yeah,
a little bit, not a lot of filters maybe, and I sort of wear my heart on my sleeve. I think that's how people explain it.
yeah. No, it's true.
Which,
It's really
yeah,
good. Yeah, it is really good. I
if
definitely
I'm
come away
not
thinking a lot. Yeah,
oh good, so I'm not good with I'm very oversensitive. So if somebody, yeah, so it's nice if everybody's on board with it, but it's
yeah,
very easy to feel like it's very easy to get flustered if somebody is has a is wants to upset you.
yeah.
But that's hardly ever happens. So
No,
it's
no.
really nice. It just takes a
Yeah,
long time to recover emotionally if somebody's like short with you or
yeah,
because of yeah. But I think so ultimately, yeah, that's just my personality. And
yeah.
honestly, outside of work, it's not popular. So I might have. It's not no. So I think I found my
Your route.
this job has saved me from feeling like a complete weirdo because I would if I had an office job I'd turn to my colleagues and say, so what's your biggest ambition in life and have you ever been in love, and that moment when I don't think that would go down very well.
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, you mentioned a couple of times in class that it's quite hard as an instructor when nobody responds, and I guess everyone's concentrating on their exercise or whatever. But do you find that quite hard to deal with, that you're kind of talking and there's not much verbal stuff coming back?
No, I don't expect it. I don't expect it, and I think over the years I've made more of a, I've left more of a space for people to reply,
Yeah,
because I've become slightly more confident, maybe a bit braver. But
yeah,
what I notice is that if people do speak back, I always think it's amazingly brave of them. I'm always really happy that they have done,
mm,
but it doesn't put me off. I would phrase, do you feel like this? Do you feel that? And then and then just allow them to mull it over in their own head.
yeah.
Yes.
Good, yeah, and yeah, I think that's a useful thing for people, isn't it? Isn't it about being comfortable with silence? And actually, it
Mhm.
takes a while to get used to that, but once you are, you are, and everyone else can feel that you are as well.
Yes, and to be comfortable with not knowing the answer,
Yeah,
and allowing it to ruminate and um, slowly evolve without pressure.
yeah,
Because, like your exam tomorrow, you're going to have to know the answer at exactly that time, and you'll
yeah,
only have a 2 hour window, and that's that. And
yeah,
then if we develop a relationship in a class format, we can sometimes I'll know people for I've been teaching for a long time. Sometimes there's people coming to my classes, they've been coming for 10 years, and I've seen them. We've got this lovely relationship, and it's just a little space in life where you don't have to know everything. You
yeah,
you are evolving and learning. yes, it's a huge privilege to be a group fitness instructor. I
Yeah.
think it's a wonderful way to spend your life.
Excellent. And I really like, from a personal point of view, in yoga, when you sometimes just say, look, if you want to just lay there for the hour, then do that. And you genuinely mean that. And I've seen people do that, and it's great. You know, use that hour for whatever it is that you need.
Yes, that started in Bracknell in a club called The Village, and I did a yoga session there on a Tuesday at 12 o'clock, and it was after I had taught spin, core, attack, and combat, which was I wouldn't be able, I don't know if I'd be able to do that now. And I remember doing this very slow yoga class, and I thought, "Cool, I could go to sleep now." And it just came out like, if you want to lie down, and then sometimes I'll say, if you want to lie down and have a cry, you're very welcome to do that as well, because there's not a lot of occasionally there's not a lot of
Yeah.
space in people's
Yeah.
lives to feel safe to do that, or they'd feel silly, or they'd feel mocked, or they've never been given permission to do that, and all of a sudden it can bring emotions to the surface, and you study them maybe for the first time, maybe in your whole life.
Yeah.
So again, it's just another example of being exceptionally lucky that you can see that emotion in somebody who's maybe hidden that from everyone else they know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's very moving, and it's very special.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, so that started to come out. If you want to lie down and go to sleep, go ahead. I don't
Yeah.
mind one little bit. I won't leave you here. I'll make sure you're safe.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
won't walk off at the end and leave you alone. I'll wake you up gently. And yes,
Yeah.
sometimes you don't know what you need, do you? And you keep
No,
filling it with
no,
stuff.
no, no. And as you just mentioned, the crying thing, I remember you did say that on my second class with you. You did say that, and I did cry. I spent pretty much the whole class crying, and it really helped. But
Yeah.
no, I don't think anyone else noticed. But silent crying.
Yeah.
So, and
It's,
it's just great to have someone like you that can connect with people like that.
that's exceptionally kind to say, and it means ever such a lot to me.
Mm.
I will treasure that. That's really
Oh,
lovely to hear. Thank you so
okay.
much.
Right, so I think this one relates to the next one. So everyone that I've spoken to so far has mentioned their values in some way. So I'm guessing that it does ring true for you as well. So do your personal values have an impact on your work or who you work with?
Oh, so yes, absolutely. I just needed to do something that would be fit with my moral compass of to do no harm and
Yeah.
to try to do good. Yeah, and I feel like this is a really nice epitome of that.
Yeah.
And I'm not smart enough to be a doctor, so so this was, and there's music a lot of music in my job,
Yeah.
and I feel that's really made a difference to my life. And now I look back on it, my career, the fact that so much of my working day has been filled with joyous, lovely music has really done me good.
Yeah.
And and yes, the personal values of just wanting to keep fit, wanting to be around people,
Yeah.
and wanting to encourage and support. Yes, definitely. I did
Yeah.
apply to be a police officer three times, I think, when twice or three times when I was finished my degree, my undergraduate degree. I didn't get into the police service, and then I did apply to be in the army as well.
Oh, wow.
So I did a weekend at Sandhurst to trying to get into their officer program. So I just really like to know what to do. So the police and the army,
Yeah.
the rules are the rules,
Yeah. Sure.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a team, um, and you're fighting for good.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying in my job now you're not fighting, and but there's rules, and I love the fact that the science of the exercises ultimately, we want to engage those muscles, we want to feel this, we want the heart rate to do this, and we're trying
Yeah.
to follow those rules, and to follow the beat and just be led is nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a bit of a
No,
I'm
that's
waffling
cool.
on to then.
No, that's really good. And I think we could talk about the next thing for ages, so I'll just reference it. So in particular, Mental Health Awareness Week was last week, and I think what you're doing in your classes is excellent for people's mental health. So is that an element that you think about as well?
Oh yes,
Yeah,
every single second of every single class.
yeah,
The mindset of whoever's in the room will be at the absolute foreground of whatever I'm saying.
yeah.
So, and this has been assisted sometimes. So, a little while ago, I said I'm very sensitive. So, truly, I was teaching yoga a long time ago, and I was doing a meditation involving being near water and hearing the ocean. And somebody said at the end they had a fear of drowning, and I thought, oh my goodness, so you must have been having a terrible time, an absolutely terrible time.
Mm,
And then there's one time I put my hand on the floor in a class and I said, so if this is the floor, I said, imagine you're making your hand kind of like a spider. And somebody said at the end, I had terrible arachnophobia. So again, that had been really triggered.
mm,
And I think even as little as maybe even 10 years ago, you could have had a majority of people saying, oh, that's so silly. That's so silly that they would say that. That's so silly. Of course you didn't
mm.
mean it like that. But really, that person's not being triggered on purpose. They're
No,
not choosing to have fears of drowning or fears of spiders. So the vocabulary that you use is just the absolute most critical thing.
yeah,
So I'll always, for example, and sometimes in Pilates, you might just slightly move someone's shoulders maybe, so I'll always ask if it's okay, do you want some hands-on support today? Just wiggle your toe, and normally everyone's eyes are closed at this stage. Just wiggle your toes if you're not comfortable with hands-on support. And it could be something that they just don't want you to touch them because
yeah,
yuck. Maybe COVID's left a worry about that. Maybe they're a survivor of some violence, and there could be anything. So
yeah,
the mental health is more important than the physical health all the time, because if they've had an unpleasant experience in between their ears, they won't come back to you anyway.
yeah, yeah,
So that's all that matters, is that the person feels safe.
yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, thank you, Frankie. That's really good. And I think your English studies is definitely coming out. And the more I hear you talk, and the more I now know about your past, you can definitely see how you're using your English in maybe not the way you intended to, but definitely. Okay, so we've got 1 minute left. So, have you got any advice for any students who are about to leave school, college, university who want to work in the fitness industry?
See, what I want to say is, don't prescribe exercise if you can't see the person. And I know that everything's online now, and that would be
Right.
bad
Okay.
advice for their career,
Yeah.
because it would cap
Yeah.
the income.
Yeah.
But if you cannot see yeah, and it's a really sticky. I'm glad I'm not starting now any job really,
Yeah.
I suppose, with the social media.
Yeah.
But this is my area that I know about. I don't know about any other industries, but to prescribe exercise to something, and you hope that you put a waiver at the bottom, don't do this if you've got back pain, don't do this if you're pregnant,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you don't know. And then the mental health of the person, if you can't see in their eyes. So I would say, if you're going to be join the fitness industry, come into the gyms, come and
Yeah.
feel what it is. It's
Yeah.
magical. It's
Mhm.
just, it's indescribable magic, and I see it every day. And come and teach group fitness. Everyone's got a social media profile, but make sure you're in the room as much as you possibly can, and don't and be true to yourself. Be true to what you believe, and try to see the good in
Yeah.
everybody, and connect. And there's so little human connection in so many areas of work. And all we do is come on together to have a Teams meeting, or we're just on the phone, or it's just email, and so much of the ability to open up is lost. But then I don't. But then this is probably terrible advice. I'm nearly 40.
I
Then
disagree. I would say that's excellent advice. Really good advice. And I think we could continue talking for absolutely ages, but I know you've got classes to teach and I've got a hospital appointment to get to. So I'm going to
yes,
say thank you so much for joining me, Frankie. I'm really glad that you agreed to come on. It's been really, really good.
I loved every second, and it's a huge
you.
privilege to be asked. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much. So I'm going to be back Thursday the 6th of June when I'm going to be talking to Sarah Townsend, who can transform your words from blah, blah, blah to ta-da. So interesting to talk to Sarah. So thanks again, Frankie, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.